Drama is just what we do.
Welcome to Ordering the Chaos. I'm your host, Casey, that's with the K. And today's episode is about anger management. We have been hearing people talking about being labeled as angry, and today we're going to get down to the root of it to really teach people that it's not so much the emotion that's the problem, but the behavior that's demonstrated. Today we have our co-host, my sidekick for today, Miss Anthony, and we have our panel, Dr. Davion and also Sean Shelley. So join us as we begin to start ordering some chaos. Welcome to Ordering the Chaos. Today we are going to be talking about anger management. And the beauty about today is we're all certified anger management specialists. So we are going to dive in and talk about this emotion of anger. We have here our panel, Dr. D. We have here Mr. Sean Shelley, double S. And my sidekick for today, co-host, Miss Anthony Michelle.
Right.
So we're just going to dive into it and really get down to the meat of it, because I think a lot of people have a misconception of anger. So we're going to start there. And first, we're going to go ahead, Dr. D, you kick it off with us and give to the people about what is anger.
So I think, like you stated, there is a very misconception of the definition of anger. And the thing is, we all have an anger issue, but where you're stuck at is in a feeling called mad. And if I want to break that down a little bit more, because feelings are moments that we're stuck in time, moments of time that we become stuck because we haven't dealt with that moment. And so when you move forward, you keep defining all your moments by that one time that's very, very gone past us.
Yeah.
So you're mad right now, or calling it angry because something happened to you 5 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why we are. You're not angry. You're mad. Let's
Yeah.
deal with the feeling that we're talking about.
Gotcha. So they say that we lose up to 80% of our intelligence when we get angry.
Yeah, some people actually already started there. They should be happy all the time.
Well,
can we all say well? But no, but that's a great point though, because it's stating that if you're stuck in that place, in that emotion, and that's how you operate all the time, that means you're not really looking at it with the full lens of which you can look at it at, because you're in that emotion.
and then also the damage you're creating or have contributed without even having a clarity of mind.
Yeah.
You cause so much more damage, and now when you're thinking back, it's too late to think about it because the
Right.
damage is done.
Right.
Right.
And that's where the shoulda, coulda, wouldas come in, because now that we're calmed down and we're out of that emotional state, we're now able to see everything, and now we can look at better options of how we can handle things. And that usually happens. Everybody usually, not everybody, but most people usually, when they look back, they would have done things differently.
Yeah.
So the goal is for us to have that mindset initially,
Yeah, yeah.
so that we don't have to worry about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas.
That's very true.
know.
So are you suggesting that there should be like a spot that we pause before we react? That way we can have a mind of clarity, or just do you shut down? How do you make that space where you're actually in that space of thinking clearly and acting clearly before you respond?
Absolutely. So we have to think. That's the thinking process. So we have our experience, whatever that may be. We're experiencing stuff all day long. You go to the restaurant, it's an experience. You meet a person in the store, that's an experience. You try a new item of food. Everything, literally, we having experiences all day long.
Right.
All day long. So as we're having those experiences, what we should do is think about it. And that's the processing piece. And I think that is what happens where people don't think. They initially either internalize, which is they go back to a place that they're stuck in, and they make that new situation, that old situation, a new situation.
Gotcha.
And then they're internalizing on that.
One other thing, we have to look at is that, people have to understand and recognize the levels of, again, you can say their emotions or, to get up to that, they have levels of anger.
Yeah.
All right. People always want to begin at number 5. You know what I mean? 5 to 10. So, but yeah, you have to recognize that and start at 1. And 1 can be, you getting up in the morning, stomping your toe on the bed.
Yeah.
You mad. You know what I mean? You're going then you get in your car and you go to work. The only way to work, somebody to run you off the road. That may jack you up to 2.
Yeah.
And some other things may happen. And by the time you get to work, you at 6.
Yeah.
So a coworker come up and say something to you. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. I don't know why. We said, I don't know why I did what I did.
Yeah.
Well, it goes back because what Dr. D was saying earlier, you're mad. So if you just stay that way in that feeling for so long, remember you have that refractory period. That can go from months, years, whatever. And so you actually build a personality.
Yeah.
So now some people may see you as well,
I ain't gonna say that word, but that
yeah.
resting face thing.
The resting, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about,
I got you. Okay.
So
And then you ask them, why you looking like that? They're like, looking like what?
yeah.
So with that, so you said the levels and the refracting stage. So when do we begin to start missing that? Because you have that. Sometimes it happens where you sort of ignore these phases, where you become accustomed to that. You just go from 0 to 10.
Well, it's their understanding of anger.
Okay.
It's their understanding of anger. Anger gets this bad rap. It's not. It actually can protect you.
Yeah.
If someone breaking your house, you're mad. You going, that anger is going to make you, jump up and run, or you're going to go in to protect them, or you're going to take care of business.
Yeah.
I think it's just anger, and I say it all the time in the classroom, man. Anger is your friend. It's an emotion.
Yeah.
Separate what you think anger is. Separate it from the behavior that people place with anger. The behavior is just what it is. It's almost like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's like just being hijacked. You just jump up and So I think it's just the like we said before, the misconception of anger, man. It's an emotion, and all of our emotions help us. I would say it all the time. Stay connected to the present moment.
Yeah.
The minute you try to get away from that,
Yeah.
That's when you start operating out of who you are as an individual.
And I can add this too, because you said stay in the present moment. Whenever you have a moment and it makes you go to a past thing, that means there's a place of unhealed, unresolved
That's right.
feelings. To go deal with that thing, because until you deal with that thing, you're gonna always go back to that same moment
That's it.
that has you trapped. So until you deal with it, you're not gonna go past it.
Yeah.
So why don't you, in this present moment, if you want to be present, go ahead and deal with all your issues that's causing you to be mad or angry, if you want to say that. But deal with it, because you're gonna always see yourself going back to that moment.
Yeah.
I think too the internal dialogue, like what you're repeating
Yes.
over and over again, so that heightens that up.
Wow.
It continues to.
I agree
Like
with that.
accumulated,
Yeah.
accumulated anger.
Yeah.
Something happened that you don't agree with or that you don't like. And it really is that simple. So, but we are going to come back. We got some more anger talk with you guys. We got to pay some bills. So we'll see you in a sec.
through life, there are times we all could use a little help. However, as we search for the help we need, there are times we find ourselves at dead ends, stuck in the maze of life. With so much going on around us, moments like these may cause you to ask, who can you trust? Who can you believe in? Who can you depend on to provide real-life solutions that have been proven to turn you into a better you?
Welcome back to Order in the Chaos with Casey with the K. And we have here Dr. D, Sean, and Anthony, and we're going deep into talk about anger. So we left off just talking about how anger is just really indicator to let you know if something happened that you didn't like or that you're not in agreement with. It's really that simple. So Dr. D, Anthony, Sean, I want to ask you guys a question. What does it mean, or what do you feel is taking place when people, as soon as something happened that they don't like, they immediately escalate? Like, you say something, that may hurt their feelings, you just cuss them out, or you go to like the extreme. Why do you think that is?
I think it's a defense mechanism. I don't want you to be in my business. I don't really want to share my experience, and it pushes you off. Because honestly, there's nothing that makes you go there unless it's something I'm hiding in, that you don't know about.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's deep.
Yeah.
A level of fear.
A level
There's
of
some
fear.
level of fear, like the doctor was saying, I don't want you to find out.
Yeah.
So it's a level of fear in there. And definitely a defense mechanism, just literally. Same bullies.
Yeah.
Bullies. That's why they're bullies.
Yeah.
That level of fear. You know what I mean? Who was the rapper, man? Jay-Z.
Okay.
Jay-Z said it in one of his
Ho?
things. Yeah. I think he made a comment like, hey, I'm walking down, in the hall of the school or whatever. I have this look on my face, but you have no idea how afraid I am of you.
Wow.
But I got to maintain this false
Appearance,
appearance so you won't come, into my personal space and, So it's definitely a level of fear.
I agree with that. Defense, the fear factor, it takes from 0 to 100 quick.
Yeah,
Right.
it
So
definitely
quick.
will. It
Yeah.
definitely will.
It's so much so that I'm gonna get you before you get me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you, and that people understand that energy is like, okay, wait a minute, because it makes you go like stand back, like, wait, who are you talking to, like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is like that control space, because sometimes what most people are not expecting it when somebody snap back at them,
Yes.
and so if somebody has that same energy, like, well, okay, I wasn't expecting that,
Yeah.
and so then somebody can confront them and it brings them out of that space, but we never know it, so it's a dangerous space if you do respond that way.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. And just to a point, Ms. Antoine made, she was saying, you go to 0 from 100. Well, that's in that diagram that we have.
Yeah.
The clock.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what that is. 0 to 100. All of that information on there is happening within seconds.
Yeah.
Seconds.
Literally.
And it's all based on, of course, the experience and some fear or rule or assumption that we done built by that to keep us protected.
So when you say that was built on, that building comes from out of our upbringing, right?
Yes, it can. Yeah, definitely.
It's the feelings, which is the trained set of thoughts and responses. And the key word is trained. Trained. We were trained this way from our past experiences, from witnessing other people's experiences, and even how we were taught. And a lot of times we have to shed like a snake, if you will, some of those things because they may not work for us. And then if there's times we know that it don't work,
Right.
but we still want to follow it and demonstrate it. But at what point do you say, I know that don't work, I'm going to try something different? And I think that's the challenge in itself, because so many people say, well, my mama mad, my mama angry, my grandma angry, everybody cuss everybody out, or everybody rude to everybody. So it's almost like it's a normal thing, but people don't like it when they experience it.
Yeah. And it's almost like, so just like if your mama said go jump off a bridge, are you gonna jump off a bridge too? It's It's like, when are you going to ask the question, why do we do this, or why do we believe this? It's a
Yeah.
simple question of asking why.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe you're going to jump off the bridge because your mom jumped off the bridge. 'Cause I know I'm
Yeah.
not. I love you, mama, but bye-bye.
Oh man.
Right. He said, I have purpose. But it's a serious thing though, because there's when on TV sometimes on those different shows, the FBI shows and stuff I watch at night, you know, people will say like they stabbed this person 20 times and then ask them what happened. It was like, I don't know, I blacked out. And some people say they ain't black out, they know what they're doing. No, it's very possible to black out when you are at rage like that. For whatever reason that got you in that place, it's real. It's a real space, and that's why it is important to manage our anger. Because if not, it can lead us to some very dark places.
Let me go and do some clinical science. And when we say black out, you're not consciously like on alert. Your body is still functioning, but your thought processes are not lining up. So you can black out and be open-eyed. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that makes that clinical sense that from a medical science.
Yeah, we just ain't on the ground like.
You are physically alert, but your mind's not connecting the dots. That's why we say black out.
Yeah.
So you're still functioning as an individual. Your just memory is not connecting. Okay. So that's
Right.
to give you some science.
Well, hey, that's why he's Dr. D. You know?
Yeah.
That's why he's Dr. D. But you know, it's. I think it's very important for every person to understand their triggers.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because everybody has them. Everybody, anything that happens, and this is when you manage your anger, or you get to a place when you can effectively manage your anger, it's not saying that you don't get angry anymore. You still gonna get mad about whatever you gonna get mad about, because you are who you are, and you have core values, you have things that are important to you. So whenever that's interrupted, it's going to cause that emotion. But the key is, how am I going to respond? How am I going to deal with it in a more positive, effective way where I'm not going to cause more damage to the situation?
So I'll tell myself, patience is the issue for me. I have low patience levels.
Okay.
So, for instance, say Walmart, I'm not a fan of them. Not against them, but it's because my time management is an issue for me. So if I have 15 minutes and I get in the line and it's going to be 20 minutes, I'm sorry, I'm going to have an issue. So my response level changes. So since I know that about myself, I'm not going to go anywhere where there's a line. If I see a line, I'm say, excuse you, no thank you, I'm going to get back in my car. Because I know what's going to create for me. So for me to control that environment, I know myself.
Yeah.
If it's a long line anywhere, I can be at a ball game. If it's a long line or wait time, my patience levels is low. So to control my anger and have my attitude, I have to shift. That's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
Somebody else go do it, but do you mind doing this for me? Because in this,
Okay.
about 5 minutes into this, my snappy. I become
Yeah.
very snappy and aggressive.
Yeah.
So I know that about myself. So when
Right.
any type of thing is over a certain amount of time, I give it a time. Everything has a time with me.
Yeah.
So when it goes beyond that point, excuse me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that rather knows me when I say excuse me,
Yeah.
let me on go.
Right, right.
Because now I know that now it's going to shift and my attitude's going to be different and my response is going to be. So that's how I control the outcome, and that's when I manage my anger that way.
Right.
See, now that's something Dr. D says is very important what he said. I know myself.
That's key.
I
Do
know
you know
myself.
who you are?
Yeah. That is so important, and that is one way you can help deal with unresolved issues, that will cause you to, be mad, depressed, or whatever. Know yourself, because something else he said, remember in the beginning, we have to understand our upbringing. Have to understand our upbringing consists of, grandma, papa, or that crazy uncle or aunt, you know what I mean? Your mom and dad, whatever happened in the community, all that stuff is, digestion comes in many forms.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so, as little ones, stuff that we see and digest, we don't understand it, but we take it in.
Right. Come on now.
And that's the kind of stuff that gets us in trouble as we get older, So we have to, the more we understand who we are as individuals, the better we can regulate, our emotions. Now, I'm not getting that confused. Don't get that confused with avoiding.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
key.
Make that clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very clear.
Not get that confused with avoiding.
Yeah.
You have to do what works for you. Like Dr. D said, hey, if I can't find nobody to take care of it, I'm gone.
Right.
So it's not that. It's not a life and death
Right.
situation, so to speak.
And I understand that what you said. I understand that not in avoiding it. I know it has to be done.
Right.
But what if I can't get done in this time period? I gotta move on and do it another time because right now it's not a safe space for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. I think that everyone should be at a place where they know what their triggers are and know how to have a solution for themselves in those situations, because that's not another person's job.
Right.
And sometimes we will make people responsible for how we feel. Though people can trigger you, though people can provoke you, it's very real. And people are, they call it button pushers.
Yeah. No, all your team.
They know, okay, if I do this, you gonna get this reaction. You do that. So that's real.
But that's also it's a form of manipulation too.
Yes.
'Cause I know your buddies. I'm gonna play on them.
Yes.
And to get the response I want. So that's
Yes.
gotta be very careful because people can manipulate you to get that response out of you.
Exactly. And to that point, even the more now, that's why we have to manage ourselves.
Yeah.
Because that means somebody has control and power over you.
Very true.
And then when you get in trouble and you have to pay the consequence, you point the fingers at other people. Well, they made me. It's true that they probably provoked you and they probably did trigger you, but you're ultimately responsible for dealing with yourself, because we can't create an emotion in somebody else.
Yeah.
We can't.
Accept.
So we have to own that. And that does not negate the fact that if you've done something deliberately to someone, that you do apologize and you make it known, you change the behavior. But if I'm just being me and I'm honest and it's not in a deliberate, mean, evil type of way, and you're hurt by that, I want to be there for you in a healthy way, but I can't be responsible for how you're feeling.
And what I would say is, I'm not sorry, but I do apologize.
Yeah.
I'm not sorry, but I do apologize. 'Cause
Everybody can't handle that.
That's how you feel. But I'm not sorry how you feel. I apologize.
This is good. We're going to come back on that. Yes, we're going to come back on that. Hey, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. And we're going to pick this back up. How do you say, I'm sorry, but, I'm not sorry, but I apologize? We're going to get back to that.
As we travel through life, there are times we all could use a little help. However, as we search for the help we need, there are times we find ourselves at dead ends, stuck in the maze of life. With so much going on around us, moments like these may cause you to ask, who can you trust? Who can you believe in? Who can you depend on to provide real-life solutions that have been proven to turn you into a better you?
Welcome back to Order in the Chaos. So, you guys, we left off with Dr. D making a statement. We just got to get back to it. We got to get back to it. He said, I'm not sorry, but I will apologize. Please tell
So I'm
us.
gonna do like this. So I apologize, but I'm not sorry. And the reason why I'm not sorry is because that is your personal experience. I could have had the same experience, but I handled it different.
Yes.
So I'm not gonna own up to your mistakes. I'm just
There
here
you
for support. I apologize because I'm empathizing. I'm having sympathy. I can be there with you, but I'm not gonna own up your own. But I'm not gonna have your burdens on me. That's your
Uh-huh.
problem.
Yeah.
I'm just here to support you through it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sorry, but I do apologize.
Yeah. Okay. That breaks it down more for me, because I was just like, okay, yeah, we gonna have to bring this home, because people, because look, this is what I believe, that whenever you may say or do something that hurts people's feelings one way or another, I do believe that the intentions matter. And you can intentionally hurt somebody or not. The outcome still is the same,
Right.
but the intentions does matter. And most times, people's intentions, most times, people are not trying to hurt other people deliberately.
I believe that.
So if we're having, a conversation or somebody does something that you don't agree with, to be honest, the only thing that they can do is just say, I'm sorry.
Yes.
But there's nothing more that they can do
It's
past
awkward,
that.
yeah.
So for example, if I accidentally just throw a pin at you, whether it was intentionally or not, you still gonna feel what that pen feel like when it hits you.
Right.
So by me saying sorry, does that take the pain away?
No.
Of course not.
So to me, I'm sorry is just acknowledgement that I understand where you are. Acknowledgement and also to let you know that wasn't my intent to cause the hurt that you feel, which I'm not responsible for. However, I understand.
But then it creates, so like for instance, when I say I apologize, but I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
It opens up a conversation. Why does that make you feel that way?
Right.
If it's in good intent, I should have lead back into a conversation. But why do you feel that way?
Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
But I want to bring you to a healthy
Right.
space.
Yeah.
So why does that make you feel that way? Because somewhere you've been damaged or and not
Exactly.
handled properly. So now
Exactly.
let's have a healthy conversation. So the
Right.
next time this same experience happens,
That's
we
it.
both gonna be apologizing and not feeling sorry.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
And
it.
I like that because by you saying that, it also shows how people can project
Oh yes,
things
that's
on the other
projecting,
people,
yes.
and that's not fair to do to people.
Mhm.
To just project things that you feel onto other people, and that happens a lot of times.
Which takes us back to that whole anger thing. Because now you're projecting, and I'm not feeling that way. So why you? I'm getting mad. Cause you keep saying these words. I'm like, look at here. That is not my story, not my
Yeah.
experience. But
Yeah.
you want me to be you?
Yeah.
No, I am not you.
Yeah.
That's your problem.
Yeah.
And so that's why that anger back and forth. It's like, no,
Yeah.
that's your problem. But we based on our experience or our upbringing, we don't think it's safe enough to tell them that's not me.
Yeah.
Right.
We own people's problem because we've never been trained to say no. That's not me.
Yeah.
But let me
Come
tell
on
you
now.
here in this day,
Yeah.
this day and age, I can look you in
Take
here
it.
and tell you that's not my problem.
Taking responsibility, man.
Yeah, that's
Literally, just taking responsibility, and you can start by challenging your uncertainties and your assumptions, man, with these disagreements or confrontations that you get involved with.
Yeah.
You got to challenge those. Just like you said, your intent. You know, it's not what you think it is, but what happened to you 3 or 4 years ago that was sitting dormant, and that situation that you thought was intentional brought that up. So in essence, you pissed off at the individual that did that to you.
Right.
They can't like
To
force
understand that.
Right.
You know, they assume that you believe, that that's what that is,
Right.
Tell people, you can only control you.
Right.
That's why.
Oh, and that's kind of interesting, but you gotta be careful with saying, I understand, I agree. Because more you do those words with people who are in her spaces, you egging them on to be stuck because I don't understand. Okay. And we gotta be careful with that because you in
Yeah.
the conversation, oh, I see you, I understand. And they feed information, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm magnifying this. I don't understand. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
That's still a you problem. I'm here listening, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
And so we gotta be careful because you can't, when we're trying to show that sympathy or empathize with somebody, don't get trapped.
Yeah.
And they're suffering because you're agreeing and not really challenging.
Come on now. Yeah.
That's a good
So
one.
we can call. So what you're saying is we can cause damage to people when we don't hold them accountable
Exactly.
to themselves.
Exactly. Because like I said, accountability is not my problem. It's me holding you to account of your own words.
Yeah.
That's accountability.
Come on now.
It's not I'm holding you account for your ability. So when you fail and don't do it, that's still your problem, not mine. I'm here to motivate and support you.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on now.
Right.
And not being responsible for somebody else's happiness. That's not.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That,
Yes.
What is that?
yeah,
That's
you're just
yours.
responsible for your own.
I'm going to support your
Yeah.
happiness. What does that
Right.
look like for you? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
good. That's big, man. That's real big. That's real big. I think somebody said that, man. What's the
Will Smith.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about
yeah.
that.
I think he said he's not responsible for Jada's happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big.
He said,
man.
go out there and find your happiness and come back,
Yeah.
and we can be that together.
That's it.
But that's simple for everybody.
Yeah.
All of our happiness is built on something different.
Yeah.
Very
And
true.
it's controlled by something different. But when you have your happiness, I can support that. And when I have mine, and then when we come together, we all happy for different reasons.
Right. Come on.
It's
now.
not uniform by one thing because then it's gonna be a lie.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we are different.
Yeah.
Let me ask this question. So what do you think is the most difficult thing when trying to help someone with their anger? What's the most difficult thing to help them to focus on, to help them to manage or regulate not just anger, but just their emotions, period? What do you guys think the most difficult task in that is?
That's a deep question.
I think I'm gonna get on right up in here. I think being able to let go of the thought about being right. Being
So
right.
You either want to be right. What's the thing? You either want to be right. You want to be right, or do you want to be happy?
Right. Right.
Well.
Right. I think that's what it is because, but it's not even about a right or wrong when you're
Yeah.
talking about people communicating and sharing what they feel.
Okay.
And that's the bias, because people think that it's either or.
Yeah.
And that's because we're trained. The Bible tells us we gotta be
Yeah.
right or wrong. The society says be right or wrong. And it's like, no, it's you, your principle. Who are you? What does it look like for you? There's no right or wrong. There's no defined definition.
Right.
It's just you as the individual.
Yes.
And we're never taught that.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's why arguments even are led to that. It's so much so not me expressing how I feel, you expressing how you feel, and then now that we understand and got everything on the table, we should be able to problem solve better because we got everything out.
Yeah.
And it's not with me guessing and trying to figure out what's going on with you because you just told me and I just told you. But a lot of times the disconnect is because ain't nobody telling one another
Right.
because we get angry, then we let words get in the way, and we're saying and doing things that later on we like, I'm sorry, babe, I ain't mean to do that to you.
It's
You
more
know?
makeup than anything.
Yeah, but guess what? When that happened, guess what? The problem is over there dormant under the rug.
That's
We
it.
still
Yeah.
do that.
And
That's
then
very
we're
true.
going to trip up over it
Yeah,
again
it's
down the
happen
road.
again.
But I would say this: the biggest issue is self-perception.
Yeah.
How you perceive yourself.
Yes.
That's the biggest. Once I understand how you perceive yourself, then we can deal with the anger or the issues around that. But it's them being honest on how they see themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See that?
And to be really honest.
That's the part.
Yeah.
Like,
Not your
real.
church face honest.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to see
yeah.
you outside the church with your club face. That's my good. That's all I want to see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? This is so good, you guys. I think that this is opening up for people. But we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back to talk about a little bit more anger management with you guys.
As we travel through life, there are times we all could use a little help. However, as we search for the help we need, there are times we find ourselves at dead ends, stuck in the maze of life. With so much going on around us, moments like these may cause you to ask, who can you trust? Who can you believe in? Who can you depend on to provide real-life solutions that have been proven to turn you into a better you?
Welcome back to Order the Chaos. So today we're talking about anger management, and what we're going to pretty much, I guess, lead with is understanding the process of how people have an experience and end up in behavior, because there's a space of things that are happening in that moment, and one of it is, the first thing is, you can't do nothing without having experience first.
Right.
Everything starts with an experience. And remember, we're experiencing all day long. So the experience either going to be positive, negative, or indifferent. So it's going to feel good to you, it's going to be great for you, or you're going to think it's the opposite, or you're going to tomato, you know. I don't care. So that's usually how we judge our experiences. From that moment, we should literally be able to think about it and process it and let it go in that moment and move forward to do what we're going to do. That's ideal. But that is not usually how we end up when we fall into our emotions. Normally people have their experience and they do two things. They either directly go and internalize,
That's it.
they go back to the past. So if something smelled like, tastes like, or look like, something that happened to them that now feels like is happening now, they already back there bringing that old experience again to this new experience. And that's a stuck space. Because you just continue to internalize, keep thinking about negative things, almost like the old, back in the day on the cassettes where you hit rewind, just hit rewind. That's literally what we do in that moment.
Yeah.
If I can paint a picture,
Yeah.
just replay, rewind, play, rewind, play. Not going forward. You ain't even listened to the rest of the song
All right,
yet.
well, it took us way back. It's for new tech people. And then we hit replay and you loop it. There we go. It's looping that circle. Go in the circle.
That's it.
Right. So that's usually what people normally do after they experience. Again, if a new situation happens, it look like that old thing, they're stuck there. And then the other thing is, if a person has what we call an irrational belief system or unhealthy thoughts, they are going to take that experience and jack it up based on how they view, how they think about things. So for example, I had somebody tell me before that nothing was wrong with stealing. And I said, okay. And this is how you can test it to know if this is really a person's belief system. Because if you believe it, it don't matter if you turn it over, switch it sideways, turn it upside down, you still gonna believe it. So I told him, I said, well, what if somebody basically takes something from you? You really telling me you're not gonna be upset, you're not gonna be mad? And he had a moment where he thought about it. He said, you know what, I will. And we had to go back to his belief system. Why are you trained to think that it's okay? Not that he truly believed it. It was a way of thinking and believing. Who knows? Somebody could have told him, get it how you get it. You know, and that became his thought process. So at the end of the day, that's the place that people use that are stuck irrational. So for him to grow and change, he has to retrain the way he thinks. So now he's thinking, oh, it's all good to steal. But now that he's realizing that it's really some cracks in that foundation and that belief, he now has to retrain himself to think, you know what? I don't really believe that, because if somebody steals from me, I'm not going to be happy. Somebody comes steal your money, your car, you telling me you're not going to be angry? So he has to go back to a place and retrain himself. So that goes to say anything that you want to change on how you respond or how you think, you have to go back and retrain yourself. And that's by teaching yourself new information or modeling somebody that have the results that you want. And you pretty much go there. And then that's usually the two places people go normally. They're either going to internalize or they're going to go and fall in that space of their unhealthy thoughts. So if you have unhealthy thoughts, and we all need to be honest with ourselves, we all need to start retraining to make sure that we're in alignment with what we truly believe. And it's not a thing of I'm saying this, but my actions are something else. Because we get that a lot. And that's what usually shows up in the behavior that people see. And then they say anger is bad, but it's really the behavior that's bad. And so when we fall into that emotion, we lose up to 80% of our intelligence. So in that moment, that's when we slide right into behavior. And most times it's negative behavior, whether it's verbally or physically. And that's usually when people find themselves in jail, broken relationships, all of that. So with that all being said, Dr. D, you said earlier about how you're not going to take on somebody else's baggage. And I see that on two sides. So it's you having your side on how you feel, and then the other person how they feel. How do two people create that boundary where I'm not going to take on what I don't need to, and I'm also going to be open enough to share how I feel too, without expectation of you being what I feel you should be?
So I think the simply answer to that is, what are your values? What's your belief system? Because I got to be comfortable with myself and what I believe to even open up and have a conversation with anybody else.
Ooh.
So if I don't believe who I am, or I have my own values, I'm nothing. It's not a boundary to create. So once I establish that myself, and yet again go back to that self-perception, how I see myself, and then I can go out into the world. I can handle other stuff, because now I'm going to be easily impressed or influenced by what you're saying. Now I'm going to get consumed and start doing what you're doing. Now to be able to hold you accountable. So I have to have solid values and beliefs. So when I open myself, okay, I hear you, but I ain't going to do that. But I can understand where you are. So when I do try to show you healthy ways, because my way may not be the best way, but it's different than yours. So this is it's an option. And I'm not doing what you're doing, so I think it's better than yours. But it's not. Also, it's not giving up. It's not judging. Because it might be better for me, but it might be the best thing for you.
Come on.
So I'm open to say, okay, maybe my path's not the way you go, but have you thought about it? Have you considered? And I'm not moved if you say no. My feelings are not hurt. I'm not going to become angry. Okay, that's your opinion. Cool. But it also gets in the fact that, do you want to grow? I'm just challenging your growth level and not being moved by it because you don't want to do it.
Come on now. So it's more so, to get understanding, it's more so, I'm going to put this out here and you do what you want to do with it, and either way, I'm okay.
I'm okay.
That's a fine, I think a deep line of boundary, because you're not going to come out of character because somebody else's actions. And a lot of times we do that. And like, for example, somebody can, yell out from the audience and say, y'all all this, that, and the other. It's our choice on how we're going to respond to that. It's our choice. Though it's the trigger, though it's provoking, though it's inappropriate, anti, whatever.
All those words.
All of it. We still have a choice that we're responsible for and we're accountable for.
Yeah. But then also it shows you relationship. Because if I put this out here and it challenges me or makes me respond a certain way, I don't really care for you in that manner. I don't really love you. Because you move me in a way that doesn't show relationship. It shows I'm manipulating you to be me. I don't care for you as an individual.
Wow.
Yeah. That's big, man.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's one of them things you gotta process. You
Yeah,
gotta
I'm about to take that one home with me, man.
I'm gonna chew on it. For real. That's something. And I think it's every aspect of what we do. We should always be looking to grow.
Exactly.
Oh, definitely.
We should always be looking to grow and to
Definitely.
modify in a way that will make us better individuals. So, that was great. I really hope that society gets to a place where they stop telling people that anger is a bad thing.
Yes.
And that's causing so many people to close up and not share how they feel when they're angry, and they just keep it bottled in. And guess what? That's why they blow up.
That's it.
So I'm glad that we've been able to all come together as CAMs, Certified Anger Management
Ah.
Specialists, to just shed a little light on anger management, because people talk about it but don't talk about it. So I hope that you all got something great today from this segment on anger management, and we will see you guys on the next episode of Order in the Chaos.
Right.